Hi, welcome back to this course on usually we are in the F&B module where we are going to learn now what are the definition of food revenue, beverage revenue and how we segregate the revenue in the F&B department as per usually. Now the disclaimer here is that certain practices in the current hotels are not strictly in compliance with usually. You may need to continue, you may want to refer back to your practices, what has been done consistently in you should not be changing the practices which you follow in your hotels just because you want to follow the usually, because otherwise the comparisons, all the statistics of comparing with the previous years will be wrong. So in this case, now let us start with the with the rooms division or with the revenue of F&B. So the first definition which you have here is the food and beverage food revenue. So the food revenue in F&B department is divided into, as we see in the main P&L, into venue food revenue, in-room dining food revenue, banquet, minibar and other food revenue. Now the venue food revenue usually includes all the food revenue which is sold at the restaurants, lounges or the bakeries or snack shops, pool area, fitness facilities, golf courses. So you may have a special service counter in different venues where you are selling the food and beverage items is. But the very striking difference that you will see here, it includes sale of food and non-alcoholic beverages. Now the non-alcoholic beverages, as you will notice, is in the practice of the hotels, most of the hotels, is that only the food revenue is going into the food revenue, plus some coffee, tea, which is which is a normal drink, is also going into food revenue. But other than that, like water, soft drinks, cocktails, mocktails, fresh juices, they are all going into the beverage revenue. um, in if your hotel has been following the practices, such practices, you may continue doing that, because you should not be moving the revenue from one line item to another line item, otherwise your average check or your other statistics will get distorted. The only thing you have to make sure is that the related cost of generating those non-alcoholic beverages such as fresh juice, coffee, tea, water, or anything else which you are producing is transferred to the beverage as well. So you should not be doing that. The cost of these items is going into food cost, because usually you will buy the fresh juices and as a food item, you will buy the coffee, tea as a food item, but you are making it a beverage and selling it. So the logic here is that because the cost is considered as food, they are eatables, that's why, and but we are converting them into beverages and then we are selling it, so that's why the revenue should be in the food. However, many hotels are not following this practice. Many hotels, they consider these items as beverage revenue. So then the cost of these items should also be going to the beverage revenue. So that's the only difference you will have. And certain hotels have also a practice where their beverage revenue is more. For example, pool bar, where people are buying more beverages than the food. So those restaurants are considered as bar or as a beverage outlet. So the cost of coffee, tea, soft drinks, juices, all will be going into the um, beverages, and only the food, which is solid food, is going to be sold, will be considered as food revenue. However, certain outlets where food primary revenue stream is food, they are considered as food outlets. So in those outlets, the bar, the coffee, tea and the juices can be considered as food revenue. So it depends on what kind of practices the hotel is following. You need to continue following that. If you are setting up a new hotel or a new accounting or starting a new outlet, then you should be following the usually, because that's the right way of doing things. So the cost of food, including non-alcoholic beverages, from a specific dining area in the property is considered as venue food revenue. So this venue food revenue does not include in-room dining, means when you are serving the food and beverages inside the guest room or inside the banquet or conference or catering facilities. It can be outside catering as well, maybe outside the premises of the hotel, or it can be mini bar revenue. So you may not be considering the mini bar as well as a revenue, which is mini bar is a separate fridge. Nowadays many hotels are giving mini bar for free, but usually you will include only the packaged food and non-alcoholic items here, but the other beverages like maybe wines or waters, that you will be putting into the beverage revenue, and only alcoholic. Then you have other food revenue, means the other consumable food not designated anywhere. So it may be cakes, or it may be somebody sitting in a conference facility or in a waiting area, maybe he is asking for a food and beverage. So usually the hotels are not practicing this. They will be charging the revenue to the outlet which is serving that. Maybe if it's coming from all day dining, the food is coming from all day dining, then the revenue will also go to food and all day dining, not to the other food revenue. So you can continue to follow that practice. Usually it's not a big item, that's why you may not be bothered about changing your accounting practices. Then you have the beverage revenue. Beverage revenue is similar to food revenue, is also divided into venue, in-room dining, banquet, and minibar and other revenue. Here the beverage revenue is only the alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages means beer, spirits, wines, and whiskey and other things which are considered as alcoholic. So they are specific to that particular, if they are sold at particular venue, then they will go to venue beverage revenue. If they are serving in the guest room, it will go to inside guest room, inside in-room dining. If they are served together in a function room, then it will go to banquet. If they are if the guest is taking them from the minibar fridges, it will go to minibar or any other revenue. So that is the beverage revenue. Now food and beverage revenue will also have associated statistics, which is to have how many covers, means how many people have ordered, plus how much money we have spent on the total. So the average money spent on these per person. So that statistics, though is not a part of usually standard, is a very important statistics for in the P&L, which is usually given as a whole. The detailed segmentation is given separately, which we are going to be discussing in the later.